4 o'clock, and we start with breaking news. The president confirming he will travel to Texas in the coming days as we struggle with heartbreak after a school shooting in Uvalde. Hello, everyone. I'm Rekha Mudaraj.
And I'm Ron Trevino. Today, we are getting a better picture as to what happened as the people of Uvalde struggle through. Here's what we know right now about what happened yesterday. Governor Greg Abbott says the gunman who killed 19 children and 2 teachers at an elementary school had warned about it online minutes before the attack that he was going to shoot up a school. He said the shooter, identified as Salvador Ramos, used an AR-15 in the attack at Robb Elementary School. The governor said Ramos had no known criminal or mental health history.
Uvalde has been shaken to its core. All Texans are grieving. People are rightfully angry.
And these are the faces of the victims who have been identified so far. Children whose lives were cut short by gun violence. We are mourning this loss. But there are still so many more people yet to be identified. All of those blank spaces we're hoping to fill with more details as this investigation continues. Uvalde is about 80 miles west of San Antonio. It's a small, tight-knit town with a population of roughly 16,000.
We have live team coverage from Uvalde, starting with Xavier Walton.
Ron, Rekha, the school is right here. And the thing about Robb Elementary, the thing about Uvalde is everyone knew someone that was impacted by yesterday. As you go around town, you just kind of talk to people, right? You could really, you know what, you could really feel their pain. You can feel their hurt. And that was the case as Governor Greg Abbott addressed a crowd today at that press conference. Family and relatives, they were there present hearing about this horrible atrocity that happened Tuesday. And Abbott was saying, you know, evil swept through Uvalde yesterday when the gunman shot at the grandma in the face, then fled, crashing his truck. You know, that's when he entered the school through a back door. That was something we learned. We also learned earlier that day, these kids received awards for perfect attendance. And now some of these kids will never attend school again.
Their love is a gift that parents get to unwrap every single day. Parents in Uvalde had that gift taken away from them.
19 children and 2 teachers lost their lives. And in all reality, Abbott said it could have been worse had it not been for those responding officers. Abbott said a Border Patrol agent shot and killed the gunman. Now, as Abbott was handing it over to Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, this is a moment that everyone is talking about right now. Beto O'Rourke, Democratic candidate for Texas governor, stood up and started speaking. You heard it there. There was some back and forth, obviously heated emotions, raw, running extremely high. You know, Beto and his team walked out to the parking lot. That's when they were met by a large group of reporters, including myself. We're going to have more of that part of the story coming up a little later. Gerald Harris is going to tackle that one. For now, though, I'll send it back to you.
Some grief and anger today in Uvalde. Thank you so much, Xavier Walton.
Heartbroken families are sharing their thoughts on yesterday's massacre, still in disbelief that 19 children were taken from them so violently. Jason Miles live from Uvalde, where we understand a vigil will be taking place later. Jason.
Hey there, Rekha. Yeah, I'm at the Fairplex on the west side of Uvalde. We're told a number of churches will come together here later this evening. Meantime, this appears to be where families impacted by this tragedy are coming for assistance, and no doubt they will need a lot. Weeks away from her 10th birthday, it's a celebration 9-year-old Ellie Garcia will never see. The Robb Elementary student was among 19 kids killed yesterday when a gunman stormed their classroom, killing the students and 2 teachers. It's an unimaginable scenario Garcia's family still cannot comprehend. Here's what her grandmother had to say about who she called her La Gordita. I don't know if she suffered or if she died quickly, but she's left me. We're told Ellie was excited for her upcoming party, that she loved TikTok and made everyone laugh. Community members, some of whom have been holding signs along Main Street, continue to ask for prayers for families and this town. And there's so much we've heard about these very special children lost yesterday, including how some of them begged their parents after that recognition at the school yesterday for perfect attendance. Please let us go home early today. They didn't, and unfortunately, that's the last time some of those parents saw their children. And there's a lot more on khou.com regarding these individual children lost so tragically. Reporting from Uvalde, Jason Miles, KHOU 11 News.
The more we hear about these kids, the more heartbreaking it is. Thank you, Jason.
Our KHOU 11 Investigates team is tracking how this all unfolded. We're joined by Jeremy Rogowski. And Jeremy, the big questions for people right now: what do we know about the gunman and how he got his weapon?
Well, Ron, state officials say Salvador Ramos was a high school dropout with no known adult criminal history, and he bought the guns legally just last week, the week of his 18th birthday. Salvador Ramos purchased an AR platform rifle from a local gun store last Tuesday, 375 rounds of ammunition Wednesday, and another AR-style rifle Friday, according to the ATF. Yesterday morning, officials said Ramos posted 3 messages on Facebook, the only known warning of what was to happen.
I'm going to shoot my grandmother. I shot my grandmother. I'm going to shoot an elementary school.
Officials say the grandmother was able to call 911 as Ramos drove a few blocks towards Robb Elementary, where he crashed this pickup truck in a ditch about 100 yards away and headed toward his school back door. Authorities say a Uvalde school resource officer briefly confronted Ramos before the suspect went down 2 short hallways and into 2 adjoining classrooms, where he shot and killed 19 children and 2 teachers. More police arrived shortly after, and a Border Patrol agent, officials say, killed the suspect. Inside the school, authorities recovered 7 30-round magazines, as well as a backpack with even more ammo just outside the back door. And according to a law enforcement briefing to state lawmakers, the suspect was wearing a tactical vest, but it did not have any body armor inside that vest. Investigators, meanwhile, still don't have an answer into the biggest question so many are asking: what was the motive for this heinous crime? Reka?
All right, Jeremy, thank you so much. Now back to that confrontation during the governor's press conference. Greg Abbott's opponent in the governor's race interrupting him.
Here's what happened when Democrat Beto O'Rourke went up to the stage.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me.
Sit down.
You're out of line and an embarrassment.
Sit down and don't play this stuff.
The next shooting is right now, and you are doing nothing.
No, you need to get his out of here. This isn't the place to talk this over.
This is totally predictable when you...
Sir, you're out of line.
And we're joined live by KHOU 11 political reporter Gerald Harris.
And Gerald, this is coming as the NRA convention is scheduled for this weekend here in Houston.
Yeah, and Beto O'Rourke will be challenging Governor Greg Abbott come November, but he took his message for gun control to Uvalde, interrupting Governor Greg Abbott's press conference. And this does come as the NRA is still on track to host their annual convention here in Houston. Governor Greg Abbott and other Republican Texas lawmakers are scheduled to speak. Beto has has called on Abbott to withdraw from this weekend's NRA meeting, while others have called for the cancellation altogether.
Check the schedule for the NRA's convention this Friday, right here in the state of Texas. 5 of the worst mass shootings in U.S. history right in this state on his watch. What does he do about it? He goes to the NRA convention to brag about how easy he has made it to purchase guns in this state.
The NRA is responding to the cancellation request. They say their sympathies are with the victims' families, adding, as we gather in Houston, we will reflect on these events, pray for the victims, recognize our patriotic members, and pledge to redouble our commitment to making our schools secure. Now, Mayor Sylvester Turner says the city will not be able to cancel the convention, citing some legal issues, but also questions why the leaders are speaking in the first place. Reporting in downtown Houston, I'm Gerald Harris. Back to you.
All right, Gerald, thank you so much.
Well, one thing Governor Abbott said this afternoon is how everybody in Texas needs to step in and help.
And we want to do that. And here's a way to do it. There are some good options that you can take right now. Uvalde CISD says people should make checks payable to Robb School Memorial Fund and then mail them to this address here, 200 East Nopal Street, Uvalde, Texas, 78801.
You can also send donations via Zelle to robschoolmemorialfund@gmail.com.